Welcome to BreakingDownTheWalls.net.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to Breaking Down the Walls. If you've just joined us, I am your host, Valerie Welch, and I tell you I am so excited about our show today. I guess y'all always say you always excited, but hey, when you breaking down the walls, it's time to be excited. When you bring people together and we discuss our issues, that is an awesome opportunity to be excited, I'm telling you. But if you don't know what breaking down the walls is about, let me just take a minute to tell you what it is. It is conversations up close and personal about issues, particularly in the African American community. Now, we should strictly limit them to African American issues. However, that is a concern of mine. So therefore, we have spent our last 4 segments in discussing our issues and our challenges in African American relationships. Because you all know, we know how to come together, but many of us have problems in what? Staying together. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to revisit our topic from last week, which is, are your standards too high? But because breaking down the walls is unique, we're not going to only have just the female perspective. We have the male perspective today. And when we come back, I'm going to introduce our awesome guest who's going to give some insight from the male perspective on, are your standards too high? Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Thank you for joining us for another segment of Breaking Down the Walls. And I am so delighted to have as my guest Mr. William J. He'll introduce himself. But he's an awesome actor. He is a husband. He's been married about 5 years. He's located here in the Atlanta area. And he has a lot to say about relationships. So I am so excited and definitely looking forward to this conversation with Mr. Willis J. Willis, before we get started in our conversation, tell the people about yourself.
I'm Willis J. Russell. I'm a professional actor. My wife and I recently started an organization. It's called the Love Foundation, where we're bringing families back together again. So.
Excellent. So this is a perfect opportunity to have an actor who can, flow. We have similar backgrounds here, but also we have a kindred spirit as far as wanting people to come together and to stay together, especially with his foundation. So let's get right into it. We only have 10 minutes on YouTube. No. All right, so let's get right to it. The topic for today is, are your standards too high? And I understand from my casting director that you have a lot to say about that. So I'm excited to have you here because you're going to give us some enlightenment from the male perspective. Now, last week we had a young lady on here who had a lot to say about what the standards were. And she said our standards were not too high, that you guys need to meet those standards or exceed those standards. So what do you have to say about what these women have to say about this?
Well, pretty much, as far as standards go, I mean, to me, it really doesn't take a whole lot to have a very strong relationship or build a solid relationship. Pretty much understanding one another, having strong communication, pretty much, meeting each other's, expectations when it comes to the long term, which is marriage. So it really doesn't take a whole lot of, standards to meet those expectations, so to speak. So.
And you can look at me. But you know what? That's all fine and well and good. That sounds just pretty. But if that was the case, then why are 72% of African American women unmarried? If it was just that simple and it didn't take all this work, then how come you think that number is so high?
Well, I mean, if you really look at it,
break that down.
The way I see it is like this. As far as why single women not being married and things of that nature, it all depends on that woman and what she wants. What is she willing to sacrifice, when it comes to relationships or
what is she willing to sacrifice?
Exactly.
What about him?
Well, the man too. I mean, from a male perspective, I look at it this way. When I first met my wife,
right?
I pretty much wanted to get to know her, wanted to see what she was like, where her head was, just pretty much have a general conversation with her, not looking at, what she had on or, how her hair was fixed or things of that nature. I mean, I wanted to get to know her, right? I wanted to get to know the real her. That out appearance, hey.
That fades, it changes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We get older, your appearance gets older, but what's in the heart remains the same. So
exactly. So we're in agreement with that. But my question is, do you think, now excluding your wife and women similar to her, do you think a woman's standards are too high? Because you basically did say you think it didn't take all that as far as entering into a relationship or keeping a relationship, where our standards are too high in what regard?
Well, pretty much, I mean, a woman's standards,
in general.
Mm-hmm. All right. It doesn't take, it doesn't take a woman really trying to narrow down, every little, icky-picky thing when it comes to getting involved with a man. I mean,
Give me an example.
Give you an example,
yeah,
okay.
Break that down.
All right, the way his hair look, or, his height, or his how deep his pockets are. It's not all about that. Money doesn't make a relationship. Whether a man is short or tall, he can have a big heart. I mean, whether his hair is jacked up, he can get a haircut. So what? I mean, you saw him on a day when he's looking rough. So.
Well, yeah, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying now, because I have some similar sentiments to that. But what I'm saying is you have to have some standards, because if you don't have standards, you'll fall for anything. You have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. So, but you're saying that our standards are to where, a man can't meet them?
Well, I mean, and I'll put it this way to you. From my perspective, me personally, a woman's standard, I feel that I can meet any woman's standard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that any other man can meet a woman's standard. Mm-hmm. It all depends on what that woman is looking for herself. Right. A woman has to find herself just like a man does. A woman has to basically, search herself to understand what she really wants. Not just go out there trying to really, say, hey, I want this kind of guy, I want that kind of guy. Okay, you want that kind of guy, but what are you willing to sacrifice for that kind of guy? What are you willing to put into this thing called relationship?
Okay.
In order to get that kind of guy that you're seeking, because although women have standards, men have standards too. Women are more emotional. Us men, we're physical. Pretty much what women take into consideration, us men really don't care about. I'll just be honest with you.
All right, so we're going to address that when we come back, because I do have a few comments for you. Okay, when we come back with Breaking Down the Walls, we're going to address his comment when he says men have standards, but it don't take all that. I will address that. So you stay tuned to Breaking Down the Walls. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back. We'd like for you to contact us at breakingdownthewalls08@yahoo.com or visit our website, which is breakingdownthewalls.net. We have some excellent promotional packages for you if you're looking for advertisement, or if you're looking for just promotion for your show, for your art, for your book. If you're an upcoming author, we have excellent rates. Breakingdownthewalls08@yahoo.com.